This is the first of 3 videos by psychotherapist Lynne Bernfield. In these videos, Lynne will describe concepts and techniques she's developed in over 40 years of private practice to help her clients become who they were meant to be. She describes these concepts and techniques in her new book, You Are More Than You Think You Are, Discovering Who You Were Meant to Be and What Got in the Way. Welcome, Lynne.
Mostly, we don't think about who we are or how we became who we are. Not until something goes wrong. Something that we want to do, we can't do. Somebody we want to be, we don't think we can be. And it's not that complicated, really. In childhood, we have lots and lots of things we have to learn. We have to learn to sit up, we have to learn to stand, to walk, to use our hands, control our bowels. But there's another thing we have to learn that I think is the most important thing and yet the least acknowledged. We have to learn who we are, what we can expect from the world, and what we can and can't do. And we come into adulthood with that information. We are who we think we are, we expect what we expect, and we believe that there are some things we can and some things we can't do. Now, all that stuff about sitting up and walking and using your hands and all that, we have to do that. We have to be proactive about that. But the learning who we are and what we can expect from the world and what we can do and what we can't do, that is done for us. Actually, it's done to us. We are told who we are. And we learn what to expect from the world based on how we're treated. And we learn, unfortunately, what we think we can and what we think we can't do. And more unfortunately, we quite often come out of childhood with a limited, wrong, sometimes dangerously wrong idea of who we are and what we deserve, and how we deserve to be treated, and what we can and can't do. Henry Ford said, if you think you can and you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford was right. It isn't what we actually can and can't do. It's what we think we can and can't do. And that information is given to us in no uncertain terms in the first years of our life. If your mommy says to you, oh, you're mommy's little boy, I love you, you always do everything I ask you to do. If that happens a lot, then you get the idea that the way to make people happy is to do what they want. If somebody says, don't do that, that's not nice, then whatever it is you're doing will become something you don't think you should do. I heard today from a woman who told me that in her childhood, it was taboo to say how you felt about anything. And she grew up not only not telling anybody anything about how she felt, a very lonely way to live, but she caught herself stopping her children from telling her what to do. Once we've learned who we are, what we can expect from the world, and what we can and can't do, we don't question it, even when it doesn't work, even when it isn't true. Fortunately, there are things we can do to discover the mistakes that our parents made. There are no perfect parents, so there are no perfect childhoods. So most of us, I think all of us, come out of childhood with ideas about ourselves, some of which are true and some of which are dangerously untrue. And then we live our lives out as though that's all that's possible for us. It isn't. So I hope, while you're listening to me, you're remembering what happened in your childhood. You're remembering what people said to you about yourself, how you felt, and maybe questioning whether that's all there is to you, whether you really are more than you thought you were. And in the meanwhile, be kind to yourself. You really do deserve it.
Miss Bernfield will be offering a 4-part Zoom workshop in which, using these concepts and techniques, she will help participants become who they were meant to be. If you're interested in attending the workshop and want to receive more information, send an email to LynneBernfield@gmail.com. That's LynneBernfield@gmail.com.